and welcome to Your Stocks in the Mumbai News Studio. I'm Ekta Batra. Well, it's turning out to be a day which is down for the market. So we have the Nifty, which is down around 135 odd points. The sensex, which is down around 500 odd points at this point in time. The Bank Nifty, which has given up a gain of around 1 odd %. And the mid-cap index, which is also in the red but doing relatively better. Advanced decline ratio on the declining side. We have a lot of stocks to cover, considering that we have a whole host of cues to watch out for. And the big one, top of mind, would be the election verdict. We have the exit polls on the 1st and the final verdict on the 4th. Well, joining us this afternoon, we have Rajat Bose of rajatbose.com and Astha Jain, research analyst at Hem Securities, to answer all of your queries. Rajat as well as Astha, welcome to the show. Well, Rajat, as always, before we kick off the show, what are the technicals telling you today?
Good afternoon to you both, Ekta and Astha. Thank you for having me. Now, coming to the index, I would say that, tomorrow is the monthly clearing of futures and options. So the actual weakness in the Nifty is likely to come tomorrow. But today it has managed pretty well because it has not fallen below 22,700. If 22,700 gets taken out, then there would be a further fall. But so far as 22,700 is not taken out, it can always show a counter swing. Regarding the Bank Nifty, what I would say is that there is a gap down fall in the Bank Nifty. If the Bank Nifty were to fall below, say, 48,300, then you would expect that 48,000 might also be tasted. Otherwise, there is not much about these two indices. Regarding the CNX, it is still managing pretty well. And what I would like to comment on is the India VIX. India VIX, we are still better off because it has not crossed 25 and sustained there. If it were to do so, then increase in volatility would suggest that there would be more profit taking and some stocks may get into downtrend. That kind of a scenario we can envisage.
Okay, all right. Well, the Met Department has said conditions continue to be favorable for a monsoon onset over Kerala in 24 hours. So that's pretty much generally when the monsoon does come through in Kerala. It's the end of May, around the 30th, 31st. So that's what we can probably expect from the Met Department. Conditions continue to be favorable for the monsoon. But Vinod now writes to us from Hyderabad. He holds 6,500 shares of RailTel, which he's bought at around 388. He wants to know if he can hold his shares for the longer term. RailTel is what he's bought it at. He's sitting on a profit at this point. Astha, what would you recommend on this?
Hi, good afternoon, Ekta. Good afternoon, Rajat sir. So talking about RailTel, first of all, the results were a mixed set of a bag because although we have seen a growth in their quarterly results, but their financial results, the PAT was a decline. So now the major positive point for this company is their order book, which is at around 4,700 crores. So order book is strong. In fact, now they have, when they have entered into the agreements with one of the company by the name of Quadrant. So I think for the participation in the Kavash tenders, so that can be the growth driver for the company going ahead, because the company is expecting 4,000, 5,000 deliveries from this agreement. So I think this can be the growth driver for the company, and in the longer term, the company may perform, but in the shorter term, due to not very strong set of numbers, we can expect further downside. My idea here is to stay invested in the counter for the initial price target of 455, 460, but horizon should be medium.
Okay, all right. Well, we do have, what about the technicals, Rajat? On RailTel, it's given returns of around 40 odd % in just the past couple of months. How much more do you think it can probably go? And your target price and stop loss?
Ekta, this investor actually bought the stock on the day it posted its all-time high. And that was 28 February when it touched a high of 494, and the 488 happened only on that day. So if you buy the stock when it makes its 52-week high or all-time high, it's chronicle of a pain foretold kind of a scenario. So now I would also say that there is a possibility that it may come down, but so long as 394 is not taken out by the stock, it has got potential to bounce back again. And for the bounce back to sustain, it needs to move above 450. But by any chance, if it were to fall below 394, you can up to a maximum of 375. You can wait. After that, you need to get out of this stock. Otherwise, there will be greater pain.
Okay, all right. Well, we now have Sagar, who writes to us from Mumbai. He holds 136 shares of Anand Rathi Wealth, which he's bought at around 3,636, and 70 shares of Nuvama Wealth Management, which he's bought at around 4,940. He wants to know the future prospects of both of these investments at this point in time. So he's sitting on a profit on both of them, and interesting bets considering the kind of gains or the kind of interest that we are seeing in terms of the markets, and that's not supposed to wane off. So from that perspective, Astha, what would your approach be on both these counters?
So talking about Nuvama, first of all, because we don't cover Anand Rathi, so I can comment only on Nuvama. We are recommending buy as well as hold on this counter, and there are strong reasons for giving buy because the kind of performance which this company has posted in their quarterly results as well as yearly results, I mean more than 100% rise in their top line, 51% rise in their bottom line. I mean very strong numbers posted by this company. Apart from that, they have a dominant and the niche position in the ultra HNI and HNI segment, and with the continuous addition of the RMs also, the company is poised to post strong future growth in the coming years also. So I think Nuvama is a very strong counter, recommending a buy as well as hold. Price target can be set at around 5,500 levels. But for Anand Rathi, we don't cover this counter, so cannot comment on this.
Okay, technically both these counters, Rajat, how do they look to you?
Well, regarding Anand Rathi Wealth Management, I would say that this has had a phenomenal performance. Say, in less than a year's time, it has pentupled. It has moved up 5 times from levels of 800 to 4,100 plus. So the long-term trend is up, the medium-term trend is up, and the short-term trend is sideways. So I would say that since it is above most of the moving averages, especially the 20-day and the 50-day moving average, it should be held. And if one were to put a stop loss, one should put a stop loss around, say, 34.50. Before that, this is a trending counter as far as its long term goes, so one should continue to hold. The other stock was Nuvama, right?
Yes.
Nuvama short term trend is down, but it has actually completed its short term correction and it did not fall below the 50-day moving average. It did fall, but it bounced back. And now it is above the 20-day moving average, in fact, above all the short-term moving averages. So I go with the same assessment that one should continue to hold this along with Astha. She recommended fundamentally and technically also it should be held. And these stocks too, one should keep a stop loss below say 4,400 and continue to hold the counters because they, Anand Rathi of course is much better compared to Nuvama, but quality-wise, even this stock should be.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get in another query now. Suresh writes to us from Chennai, holds 100 shares of Alembic, which he's bought at 565, wants to know what to do, stay invested or book his profits. He's doing well on this particular counter. And in fact, talking about numbers from the pharmaceutical space, we had Ipca Labs and now Alkem, which is reported. Alkem reported a marginal increase in terms of their margins, but the profit is below the CNBC-TV18 poll. But in any case, what would your call be, Astha, on Alembic Pharma as well as maybe Alkem?
So since Alkem is just posting its numbers, so we really need to see the numbers in detail. Prima facie maybe not on the expected lines for Alkem, I can say. Now talking about Alembic Pharma, although they have shown some sort of a growth, especially single-digit growth in their top line, but the problem is coming not from the US business, but from the domestic business, because what we have seen that the US business is performing very good, but we have seen some sort of pricing pressure in the domestic business as well as API business is also seeing some sort of pricing pressure, and that is why the company is not able to produce strong set of a number. Another major factor regarding these sort of number is that they have a strong base in the last year, especially in their anti-infective and respiratory therapies in the domestic business. So that has also created, some sort of problem in posting strong set of a number this year, maybe this quarter, I should say. So talking about our overall, I mean, it's a hold from my side. And since the investor is already getting strong profit, so my idea here is book some profit and partial book some profit and hold partial quantity with a price target of in 1,050 to 1,100. But partial profit booking is also advisable at this point of time.
Okay, all right. And what about you, Rajat? Technically, how would you approach Alembic?
Technically, I would say it's a sell and one should sell it. The reason behind that is between 2020 and 2021, again, this 950 to 1100 range. At that time, it took a longer time to do the distribution and then it failed to below 500. And that was last year. And from there, it has moved up. Now, again, if you look at the weekly chart, it clearly shows distribution. And if 900 were to be taken out, you will see 800 or even that 200 week moving average around 750, that will be tested. So since he or she is sitting on good profits, why not book it? Because most of the things in the market is already discounted. What are you going to discount next? That's a big question. So if there is good profit, book it.
Okay, if there is good profit, one should book it. Does that apply to all stocks, Rajat, or are some just holes?
See, unless you are willing to hold a stock for more than 5 years, if not furthermore, then you can stay put. Otherwise, just one simple thing. See, even if we get a 400 par, that is the best case scenario next week. And in that case, my idea is that the Nifty might go up to say something like 23,700 to about 21,400, 24,100, that kind of region. Otherwise, anything less, there would be. Even in that case, the profit taking will happen and June will be a very volatile month. And if that doesn't happen, something else happen, something less happen, then also there will be a lot of profit taking, a lot of supply pressure at higher levels. So why not take this opportunity unless you are holding a stock for real long term and you have solid conviction in them and they are really good companies, you should book profits.
Okay, all right, Rajat, as well as Astha, a lot more queries, but we'll take a quick break and be back. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Your Stocks. We have with us Rajat Bose and Astha Jain to answer all of your queries. Well, we have Kumaresh Bapu, who writes to us from Tamil Nadu now. He holds 11 shares of Adani Wilmar, which he's bought at around 383.9 rupees. So he's sitting on a marginal loss there. He wants to know what to do with this particular investment. Rajat, what would you recommend on the technicals?
Technicals, it is moving sideways. The gradient is down, but the movement is so slow that it is more or less a sideways movement. However, if it were to fall below 320 or say even 300, in that case, there will be much further fall. And unless it takes out the levels of, say, 360, 65, where the 200 exponential moving average is located, it would not give any significant upside. Significant upside can only happen when the 200-day is decisively taken out. It tried to do so in the month of March. It did not. Hence, it is coming down again and continuously distributing.
Okay. What about you, Astha, on Adani Wilmar?
So recommending hold on this counter. Initial price target can be set at around 395 to 400 for the medium-term perspective. Talking about this counter, because they have expanded their distribution reach, so that is reflected from the improved market share in some of the segments like atta as well as mustard oil. Going ahead, we believe that growth will be coming because now they have the already working on improving their brand mix, increasing penetration, increasing their reach. as well as declining raw material prices has also helped the company in past also, posting strong set of a number that is in the Q4 of FY24, and this will be continuing. So on the basis of all these factors, we are positive in the longer term, recommending hold, not a buy, but yeah, hold can be maintained on the stock with a price target of 395 to 400.
Okay. All right, Adani Wilmar, that stock up around 2% odd. Shafi now writes to us from Andhra Pradesh, holds 1,000 NTPC shares at 171. So sitting on a profit, wants to know what to do in the short term. And what is the short-term view on the stock? Well, Rajat, what would your short-term view be on NTPC?
The NTPC so far has maintained its uptrend pretty well. Intermittent corrections continue to happen, and it moved up in a more or less 45-degree angle kind of a thing. So that's a very strong uptrend. It's not like skyscrapers or parabolic rise that has happened. So NTPC, I would suggest a hold because it is not falling below the 50-day moving average. It did fall in the month of March, but it quickly recovered and it still has potential to move further up. So on the upside, if 380 is taken out, then 405 to about 410 would be the target, and one should put a stop loss below 350.
Okay, stop loss below 350. That's the word coming in on NTPC. Pradeep writes to us from Pune. He holds 50 shares of Berger Paints, which he's bought at around 492. Wants to know what to do, whether to hold or sell at these current levels. So Berger Paints is the stock in focus. He's just about breaking even, or maybe just about sitting on a marginal profit on this one. Astha, over to you. We've discussed this with regards to Asian paints. You know, you've spoken to a lot of paint companies with the heavy competition from Grasim, which is coming in. In that context, a stock such as Berger Paints, what would you view it as? And fundamentally, is it a good call?
Recommending a hold on this counter on the fundamental basis with the price target of 525 to 530. So talking about this counter, they have shown volume growth, especially if we see this sort of volume growth, it is coming due to their putty and due to their adhesives segments. And in fact, they have launched new and innovative products also. So that is also helping the company in posting strong volume growth. So what we are believing that company will continue to show this sort of a strong financial performance in the quarters coming up. And that is why recommending just a hold, because even we want to see that whatever we are expecting, company will be doing that on the expected lines or not. So not recommending a buy, but yes, a hold from our side, 525 to 530 can be set as a price target.
Okay, and what about you, Rajat? Berger Paints?
Well, Berger Paints is actually a leader in the eastern side, and it does pretty well. But the point, and the other metrics, apart from what Astha said, that it also maintains a 3 to 4% advertising budget. But I have not been able to find out as to how much Grasim would be spending. Asian Paint spends about 1,200 crore on, say, advertising, and this also spends quite a bit. So if the ad spend is pretty high and other things are pretty good, then Grasim will definitely give Asian Paints a run for its money, and Berger will continue to be the second and the third. So I would also say hold on to it because it has already corrected so much. If you have to put a stop loss below 450. And on the upside, if it were to cross 520, then 550 might be scaled up too. But do not expect the yesteryear's gains in paint industry, at least not for the next 2-3 years, because 2-3 years there will be massive competition. Indigo Paints and others are also catching up, so there will be a lot of work.
Okay, all right. We have Lakshman now, who writes to us from Andhra Pradesh. He holds 1,000 shares of SBI, which he's bought at 287. He wants to know if he can hold the shares for another 2 years. So his outlook is to hold SBI for another 2 years. Let's go over to you on this one. Astha, what would you recommend? SBI, it's a portfolio stock. Another 2 years is the horizon.
Yes, in fact, when results came, we were discussing that time results also. And in fact, my stand at that point of time was also that remain invested in the counter with a price target of 900 to 950. So I am continuing with that stance. Yes, we are recommending hold on this counter because the results were exceptionally well, especially their core operating performance was strong. And in fact, whatever management has guided regarding maintaining ROA as well as giving the credit growth guidance of around 13 to 15% is looking very well for this stock. And that's why we are positive on this counter, recommending a hold for the price target of 900 to 950. But 950 is a longer term target. Initially, 900 can be kept as a target for this counter.
Okay, all right. And SBI and PSU banks in general, how would you approach them, Rajat, technically?
See, SBI, I would say, since the purchase price is so low, one should continue to hold it, and one need not get out of it because it has the investor has got so much of cushion. And regarding the target on the upside, even I would say that 900 to about 950 would be the immediate target. Of course, one can see a lot of volatility in the next month, but SBI is worth holding for the long term. That is good. Apart from that, I would say that if you are planning to purchase public sector banks, wait for the month of June. You will get them on volatility. They will also come and correct. At that point of time, Canada Bank, Indian Overseas, lots of banks are there you can buy. I mean, there are lots of good banks one can think of buying.
Okay, all right. Rajat as well as Astha, it's always a pleasure listening to your views. Thanks very much for joining in and giving us all of your perspective that you do have. Well, that's on Alchem Labs. The revenue in terms of the US has come in just about a little lower than what the street was anticipating. I think it's at 75 million or the opposite. We'll just wait by for that flash to come through again for Alchem. But over $70 million is what they have done in terms of the US revenues. For the markets, it's pressured for sure. So we have the Nifty, which is down around 134 odd points. The Bank Nifty, which is really the key culprit today, so it's lost almost around 600 odd points at this point in time. Top losers in terms of the Nifty include SBI Life, HDFC Life, both those stocks down 2.5 odd percent. ICICI Bank, which has lost around 2 odd percent in today's trading session, and giving it companies something like an Axis, which is down around 1.7% as well. Well, on that note, that's all the time that we have on the show. But do remember to email us your questions. We'll address them with our experts. Closing bell up next.